Okay, boys and girls, today is Monday, April 9th, 2018. I am focusing on page 10 and 11. I am starting on the second problem on page 10 of our FSA review, and then I'm doing all of page 11 today. Please excuse my scratchy voice. I have a cold. Number 22 says select all. Please, right now, take your pencil and circle the word all. That automatically means that there are multiple answers, and you must select all of the correct answers, or your answer will be incorrect. There's 35 times 12. I'm going to show you guys, do a little reminder of how we use the box model to multiply. So you have 30 and 5, and 12 would be 10 and 2. So 10 times 30 is 300. 5 times 10 is 50. 30 times 2 is 60. 2 times 5 is 10. I add all of this up. This is 350. This is 70. If I add these, that gives me 420. So that answer is correct. 3 times 5 is 15. 10 times 2 is 20. If I come over here and I multiply 20 times 10, and then 20 times 5, Raul, pay attention. This gives me 200 and 100, so that total is 300. So this answer does not work. 40 times 10 is 400. 2 times 4 is 8. 400 times 8 is going to give me 3,200. That is not going to work. 4 times 2 is 8, and I put my 2 zeros, that's 800. That is not going to work. 14 times 30, I'm going to move over here just a little bit, and I am going to use my box model, 10 and 4, 30 and 0. These we automatically fill with 0. 3 times 10 is 300. 30 times 4 is 120. When I add that together, that gives me 420. So your two correct answers are the first one and the last one. I heard some yeses around the room. That makes me very happy that we had some correct math. Okay. Number 23 is what is 1,356 divided by 3? I am going to use partial quotients, and I want you to pay close attention to this, Cambria. I'm going to do 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50. Then I'm going to add in 100, 200, 500. And I'm doing that because we are dividing in the thousands. This is 3, 6, 15, 30, 60, 150, and now I just copy these numbers down here and add zeros, so I end up with 300, 600, and 1,500. I can take 600 away from 1,356. To get that, I multiplied by 200. Cambria, I hope you're paying attention. I could take away 600 again. That gives me 156. Kind of running out of room here, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. That was another 200. I'm going to take that 156. I could take away 150. That was multiplying by 50. And I could take away 6, because 3 times 2 is 6. That gives me 0. I add 200 plus 200, that's 400. Plus 50 is 450. Plus 2 is 452. So your answer is 452. Alright, I had you guys fix this one right here because I made a typo. So what you were supposed to do is show a model to show how 4/5 and 8/10 are equivalent. It has been a while since we've done this, probably since around November, December time frame. So I'm going to make 4/5 first, and I draw a rectangle separated into 5 pieces. I'm going to draw another rectangle. I'm going to separate it into the same 5 pieces. Then I'm going to go like this in half, and that gives me 10. To shade in 4/5, I'm actually going to pull out a highlighter so you guys can see a little bit better. So 4/5 takes me here. 8/10 takes me there. And so when you do that, you show that 4/5 is equivalent to 8/10. That was easy. Okay. Let me focus this a little bit better. There we go. Alright, Carrie has 2 fraction models, each divided into equal size sections. The fraction represented by model A is greater than the fraction represented by model B. Model A is divided into 8 sections, and 2 sections are shaded. Model B is divided into 12 sections. What do you know about the number of sections shaded in model B? Explain your answer. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is draw 2 rectangles of the same size. Okay. I'm actually going to show you to do this 2 ways. So model A is going to have 8 sections. So if I draw 7 lines inside, I'll have 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Model B is divided into 12 sections. I need 11 lines inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. It says that in model A, 2 sections are shaded. Okay. So that fraction is 2/8. This one has a total of 12 pieces, and all we know is that this has to be smaller. So I look here, if I did around 5, that's going to be bigger. If I shade 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, it appears to be smaller. I'm going to show you what this would look like. Now, let's take a trip back on memory lane. Let's go back to the lessons we learned about equivalent fractions. So we're taking 2/8 and 4/12, and we're going to see if they're equivalent. In order to do that, I've got to have a common denominator. Remember that? Remember finding common denominators? Remember that we would come up with the multiples of 8 and the multiples of 12. 8, 16, 24. Oh, wait, I'm going to put the brakes on that because 12, 12 times 2 is 24. Look at that. So if I multiply, because 8 times 3 is 24, 12 times 2 is 24. So what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. Multiply by 3 over 3. That gives me 6 over 24. Okay? All right? We'll look again. Now, if I see that I need to multiply this by 2, that gives me 8 over 24. Which fraction is more? What's more? 6 over 24 or 8 over 24? So that means that my guess of 4, it's not right. So I'm going to try 3. Because if I think about this and I change this to 3, what's 3 times 2? 6. But wait a second, let's put the car in reverse. The fraction represented by model A is greater than the fraction represented by model B. Well, if this is model A, and this is model B, can they be equivalent? Yes or no? No. You can't have one fraction greater than the other if they're equivalent. So now I'm going to back my car up even farther. I'm going to change this to 2. What's 2 times 2? 4. So if I just had 2 shaded, 2 times 4, 6 over 24 is greater than 4 over 24. So what do you know about the number of sections shaded in model B? There can only be 2 sections shaded in model B. All right. We are going to stop this video here.
Bye, YouTube! Bye, YouTube! Bye, YouTube!
We are stopping this video here to end part 1. We will continue part 2 after specials.
We have to get 10 likes.
Okay, so into part 2 today of our video. We are on page 11. This is number 26. Which pair of fractions show a correct comparison? Select the 2 correct answers. So everyone needs to take your pencil right now. Circle the word 2. Okay? We are looking for 2 answers. Okay. In order to determine if something like this is correct, what you need to do is think about, well, 2 times what equals 40? And 5 times what equals 100? Well, if I look at this, 2 times 20 equals 40. 5 times 20 equals 100. Right? So that means that this is a correct comparison. 2/5 is equivalent to 4 40/100ths. So I will leave this here. Now this is saying 2/5 is greater than 6/9. You could draw a model. You could also use equivalent fractions. You could use a common denominator, which in this case would be 45, because 5 times 9 is 45. So I'd multiply this by 9 over 9, and this by 5 over 5, 18 over 45, and 30 over 45. They are not equivalent.
No.
If they were equivalent, the numerators would be the same. So B is not an answer. This is saying that 2/5 is greater than 2/3. I would draw a model. Here's 2/3. Okay? I have 2/5, 2/3. Is 2/5 greater than 2/3? No, because this is 2/5, this is 2/3. Very clearly, this one is bigger, therefore this is wrong. They're saying that 3/5 is less than 8/12. I would actually use equivalent fractions for this because it can be really difficult with this kind of a model with 12 pieces and getting it all lined up. Cambria, I hope you're paying attention. 12 times 5 is 60. Three times 12 is 36. 5 times 12 is 60. 8 times 5 is 40. 12 times 5 is 60. Now, what this means is that 36 is less than 40, so 3/5 is less than 8/12, so yes, that is correct. Okay? You could stop there. Those are the two correct answers. However, in order to go to excuse me. Cold. Okay. So in order to make this work, you would have to go through the same process, find equivalent fractions and all those sorts of things. So we're going to stop here because we found our 2, and we're going to go on. Now, this is very important. This is a new type that I have not shown you yet, so it's really important that all eyes are on the screen and your ears are ready to hear. Okay? And what it is asking you to do is click with your mouse inside the table to show what you know, whether it's greater than, less than, or equal to. But first, I have to figure out, is it greater than, less than, or equal to? So 4/3 and 6/5, I could draw a model, or I can use equivalent fractions. 3 times 5 is 15. We don't need this in simplest form. So you can seriously just multiply by the other denominator. Okay? 4 times 5, 20 over 15. 18 over 15. Well, this means that 4/3 is greater than 6/5. So, I would check here. 6 over 2 and 9 over 3. Okay? There is one way that I could do this. 2 times 3 is 6. Does everyone agree with me? Because 2 times 3 is 6, that means it's 6 because our numerator is greater than our denominator. This is a fraction more than 1. So that means that 6 over 2 equals 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So this also equals 3. So these are equivalent fractions. Here's 3 over 2 and 7 over 4. So 3 over 2 is the same as 1 1/2, by the way. And a 7 over 4 is the same as 1 3/4. And how I know that is 4 over 4 plus 3 over 4 equals 7 over 4. So 4 over 4 is the same as 1. So this is the same as 1 3/4. 3 over 2 is the same as 1/2 plus 2 over 2. So that means it's the same as 1 1/2. 3/4 is greater than 1/2. So that means that 3 over 2 is greater than 7 over 4. So I would click this one. Okay? These are matching. So you have to click the correct box. Obviously, we are not doing our math with a mouse. We are using a pen, so we just use checkmark. And that is it for our lesson for today. Thank you for tuning in.